He like barely put it.
Welcome back from the break.
Yo.
Tequila's being passed around. It's gonna get crazy, people.
Not that crazy.
Let's. We stopped kind of right in the middle of the battle. We're gonna start top of the round with Fearg.
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 Fearg is the word.
Has Solomon?
Fearg is the word.
How crunchy is Solomon looking? Not that we care at all, but.
How much damage do you know?
How crunchy is Solomon looking? Solomon
We did
is
13 to him.
looking like he could definitely go toe-to-toe to you until that firebolt hit him in the back and basically scorched his entire, like the back of his head. Like he went from like 0 to panicking in like 2 seconds.
So his molar smells bad.
Yeah,
Smells worse.
I just want to say that when that happens, Farron looks at Sparky and is like,
yeah, Keth is definitely shocked too. Like, this fireball just like flew past him.
but like, this is Lumi. This is like little baby Lumi. What?
What the fuck,
that
baby
thing you were
Lumi?
saying in the shop or something. You were saying something about something in the shop. That must be what.
Oh, sorry.
Let's.
That thing I was. Oh yeah. I'm hurting people. I don't mean to.
This guy deserved it though.
But-
Don't feel bad.
No, I feel bad because like I didn't mean to hurt him that bad. I just wanted him to stop. My question is, barbarians, how can they pull back? Like, can he be aiming at not killing somebody but still hurting them?
We've already discussed that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is actually doing that. So, for example, anytime you
What's the
get
raging?
someone down to 0 hit points, in that moment, you have the option to say, and I don't kill them. Now, the only exceptions that I have to that are, for example, bow and arrow or crossbow bolts. Sorry, you can't go subdual on that. And like things like firebolt.
Or like a dart.
Or if you're raging, so it feels like you're not in control of yourself. Does that
Well,
make sense?
but that's for Connor to explain and to characterize and not. There's no like
Okay.
if you're raging, you're only
For-
gonna murder.
okay.
Something tonight.
Okay,
That's
I
just
just was
not-
wondering if there was for barbarians.
Yeah.
To back you up on that, like
I'm
in terms
putting
of like
a budget
weapons,
your sticker.
the rules specifically say
I do.
only melee attacks can be used for like knocking somebody out.
Okay.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
And where I would actually bend the rules on that would be like throwing axes, or maybe like
An axe to the face is
a
gonna
throwing dagger. Oh, I threw the dagger like reverse hilts because I knew that the hilt was gonna clock him in the back
Yeah,
of the
I
head
think-
kind of deal. That I will absolutely like. There's wiggle room, but arrow
Like
no
kind
wiggle
of
room.
roll
But
wiggle
if
room, I feel like.
you're shooting
Can't
an
be like,
arrow
oh, I
and
just hit him.
You're on. Wouldn't you be
So
able to
accurately.
aim? Wouldn't that couldn't if you roll really high? Wouldn't that influence your aim if you're trying not to have
Maybe.
a fatal blow?
Drinking
Does that
down,
like-
he's on camera.
Stick your tongue between your
No.
lip and your teeth.
Like because if you're a
I
good
know, it's not
archer,
gonna work.
then your shot would be true. Depending on how high you
Many
roll.
weapons are designed for both knocking people out and for lethal, and I would argue that the bow and arrow is designed for only lethal.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere in the design factor in the bow. Now you could actually fire your bow and maybe it didn't do too much damage, but you knocked him to 0, and maybe I would rule like, oh, okay, he just took like a leg shot and he's just in a lot of pain, but he's still alive. But I would say 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna kill motherfuckers with bow and arrows. You know what I mean? In terms of like if you were shooting a bow and arrow and you got someone and they dropped them to 0, I'm probably gonna say they're gonna die.
Okay.
The other thing with like NPCs, I often don't use the same rules as you guys have in terms of death saves. Like it's not like they drop and then they have to fail all their death saves. Like if you fire a bow and arrow and it drops them to 0 hit points, you kill them.
Okay.
So that's it's a dog world for them NPCs.
Bananas.
Well, you guys get the death saves. You are heroic and mighty.
Yes.
We can
Albeit
feel
first level.
the desire to save people calling us back to the other side.
So, Fearg.
Uh,
So that to answer your question, yeah, he has panic in his eyes. He went from totally wanting to just fuck you up to, like, you can see him squirrely eyed, like, I got
Yeah.
it out of here.
And they got mages with them? Oh, shit.
So Fearg is kind of unintelligibly screaming at Solomon. It's not my fault that Finn doesn't understand geometry, and we didn't mean to put them in the infirmary, and what the fuck. And
While you're slam.
Talk about dropping some knowledge.
And he's saying something, but it's like coming out like blabbering because of the he's on fire basically. But he says something to it's her book, that kind of thing.
yeah,
It's an absurd beef.
it's an absurd beef, but it's for
You don't know the dirty underworld of librarians.
So
Yeah, I was one for a long
Let me,
time.
let me tell you about my overdue fees.
Hey, the ink smears.
yeah,
They're
we're.
the most fastidious motherfuckers.
Are you the one that brought up Barbarian Interlibrary Loan Manager? Yeah. So Fearg is going to take the weighted end of the red pencil and just go straight into Solomon's solar plexus.
Okay.
Ooh.
Still not killing him, but
Still not killing him,
Yeah.
but like knocking him down and making him stop.
go for it.
Shut the fuck up.
23.
That's a 20 hit.
2.
Yeah, that's an absolute hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight into the solar
You got
plexus.
him.
Straight into the solar plexus.
You done fucked his shit up.
11 points.
11 points. Essentially just knocks the wind out of him and he goes down to his knees, like wanting to cough, but instead it's just like and it just trying to breathe as much as possible. And after Fearg is Tim. Time. Tomb.
Yeah.
Timidity.
Are any of them by the edge of the platform at all?
No. You guys are actually all directly right in the middle of the road.
Okay. How big are those again?
I would
sound like
say
pretty big.
that width, they're about
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
50 feet.
Okay. But,
Yep.
My aunt's dog's named
Yeah,
Tequila,
but then
and when you
very, very
whistle
long.
that,
yeah, that
he'll
makes
get up on
sense.
his hind
Chunk of
legs.
road. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh,
When he
this
drinks
is the
tequila.
cover.
When you whistle,
So
that's all.
she, Time is gonna aim for one of the like non-human looking ones. Actually, you already hit the ones on you. No, she's aiming for like one of the ones that has not been damaged. Like has not been hurt yet.
Yeah.
They're all characters.
Maybe the one that's like close right next to where Solomon, right? Sort of like add to the fire mix there. So she kind of like takes her staff and like for anybody who's watching, which is most likely maybe shiny objects, I don't know. That stone at the top kind of like turns to like a fiery aura, and she kind of like throws a firebolt that you recognize like out towards that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't me.
No. You're just watching because it's shiny. Hit.
Definitely.
Nice pencil assist.
Yeah. Bam. Hit that 17. For 2 fiery sparkles.
2 fiery sparkles.
Pew pew.
Little singe on the.
Yeah. Oof. Just
Yeah.
You just
Just a little something.
trimmed his eyebrows so they look real fierce.
He puts his hand up to block it, and most of the burn damage happens to his one hand.
Nice.
But yeah, but you definitely hit him for sure, and he's he's just looking. He's like, Radical, we gotta get out of here. And
Time kind of just like leans down and pets her cat.
Yeah.
It's kind of just rolling around her feet.
Farron.
Okay, so I've got this one guy that I smacked in the face,
Just like,
Yes, you did.
right?
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna like take the same quarterstaff and just like kind of like shove him, like give him like a good like in the gut, like
Oh,
away,
That's like
right?
Going inside you.
3.
Plus.
Oh, 3. Wait, which one?
Wherever.
Dang it.
This
Yeah.
is
Since
quarterstaff.
you rolled a 3,
I'm smart.
I'm gonna actually assume that you missed
I think it's
him.
plus.
You go for the gut shot,
Efficient
and
-1.
he takes his short sword and just kind of clinks it out of the way, and actually like headbutts you a little bit. It's not enough to do damage, but it's like get the fuck away from me. Yeah. Okay. You do anything else that I should know about, or?
I don't know. I think just kind of like there's sort of like Farron's kind of stunned at like what like the neighborhood business, like this is
Yeah.
this is
Beverages here.
Clearly upsetting the
Beverages.
community.
Yeah, like this is like very unusual.
Okay.
Very unusual.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
kind of beneath your like
Yeah, like,
level of
don't you know who I
participation.
am? Like, kind
Yeah.
of. Like, there's
Awesome.
a little bit of that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like this doesn't happen here.
Yeah, a little high and mighty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, good.
This is a good neighborhood.
How many of them are asleep? Just one?
Yep.
So there's
One of them's asleep.
Yeah,
so there's
it
four.
It looks like
right?
it looks like so. One of them's asleep.
Pretty-
Solomon
need to
is on
watch.
his knees trying to catch breath, but is unable to.
Okay.
And then there are 3 more of them.
Two of them are on.
One of which took a solid blow from Ren, but then Ren just missed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them took a little bit of firebolt damage on the hand, and then one has not been touched at all.
Missing eyebrow on that one.
Okay, and are they all kind of just like standing next to each other?
They
Like-
are they're trying to kind of surround Fearg essentially. This was the attempt at like a Fearg beatdown.
Okay.
That is not going well officially.
Okay. Well then, I'm going
And
to
the fighting pits.
run up between these two, and I'm going to take a swing.
Yeah.
Two-handed with my quarterstaff at the one that you just missed.
First off, buddies.
18.
18 is definitely a hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Crack.
7 plus 2, so 9 damage.
Yeah.
And-
How? Yeah. Like how do you want to kill him, knock him out, whatever?
I just want to knock him unconscious.
Yeah.
And like kind of just like he's gonna like do it in a way so he falls right next to the guy that's sleeping.
Okay. So you
Like
Pushing
I
his
whip
head on him.
my whip my quarterstaff around and hit him up beside the head, and he just kind of like falls back and lands right next to the sleeping
So
guy.
And
his
I'm
head
just
doesn't
laying
hit the
about in the
ground,
road.
hits the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm even gonna say that
Okay.
you do something even a little bit more elegant, just to like slow his fall. As he's falling, you grab his clothes and lay him gently on the guy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him to like take more damage as he hit the ground.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then as I release his clothing, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna uppercut the other guy that's staying next to like surrounding Fearg
Yep.
on the side of the head.
Yep. The guy who got struck by the firebolt, or the guy who has not taken any damage.
The guy that got struck by the firebolt.
Done.
Because I feel like he's
Oh.
distracted,
I was
like
like,
his
how
hand
do
just
you have
got
2
burned, so I'm
attacks?
gonna just like come and just like
Fuck.
right in the side of the head.
Yeah, got it.
Fist.
And that's 16.
16 is a hit. So if I recall correctly, because this is a bonus action, you don't add your strength or dexterity modifier. It's just your straight roll. Oh no,
No, I do.
monks are different.
It's a
Monks are different.
D4 plus 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it plus your wisdom or plus like a strength?
It's plus my dex because I'm a monk.
Dex or strength.
Dex or strength, yeah.
Dex or strength.
So 6 damage.
Ooh, ouch.
Nice.
That was a fist to the solar plexus.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah. You might have broken his jaw.
I am like 7.5, 8 feet tall with
Yeah.
my mohawk, so
You might have broken his jaw. Like you even tried to pull back a little bit, and you might have broken his jaw.
Do you feel bad?
I do feel kind of bad, but at the same time, like I'm aware that we're all trying to achieve something together, and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem fair to me that it's like 3-on-1.
Yeah.
Like they're all trying to gang up on Fearg, so I'm just like, no, fuck this situation. Like,
Right. Okay, so we have. So Solomon is just still trying to recover his breath. He's all but taken out of the equation. But the other two, they are going to basically disengage from the combat, and they're going to run 2 separate ways. So one of them is actually running towards you and you.
Can I use my reaction as he runs towards Sparky to hit him?
No, because he disengaging.
Oh damn.
And
Are we? So we're standing close to each other.
I would say probably, yeah. I would say that you're maybe a little bit behind her, if not maybe side to side at this point.
Neither of you guys have said you
I was
moved,
gonna
so.
I was gonna move away from you, kind of freaked out that you just like broke somebody's jaw, like maybe.
Oh, I ran 30 feet forward.
Oh, you
so,
did. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm already far away.
So anyway, one guy is running towards you, but you can pretty much tell that guy is not. He is fleeing. He's sort of like running kind of at you, but like over in that direction to run past you. And then the other guy is disengaging and going the other way. So basically, they're both sort of 30 feet from the main group over here, and then now that one guy has run 30 feet towards you two, he's pretty much like 10 feet away from both of you, but a little off to the side. And that's it. Sparky, your turn.
So one of these two people was the person engaging with Ren, or that person still engaged with Ren?
The guy that was engaged with Ren, Keth knocked out.
Oh.
Is it the guy that I broke his
Ah.
jaw or the other guy?
No, it's the other guy. The guy that you gently lowered onto the sleeping gentleman.
No, I mean, which one's running towards them? The guy that I broke his jaw or the guy that's uninjured?
The guy that you broke his jaw is running towards you two. And he's just like as he's like running at you, he's about to run past you, and all you can hear is "Fuck this, man."
Well,
It's
I
like
guess we don't
carving
really
his
need
jaw.
to know. We know why they're there, so I don't need to stop him. Or I could, right? I could.
Do whatever
You
you
can do whatever
want.
you want.
Do what you want.
Although time says this one means us no harm.
What was that?
This one means us no harm.
I really want to shock him, but I don't feel like that's in my character. I feel like I wouldn't do that. So he's not close enough to really like, unless I actively went towards him. I would.
Correct.
Right.
You'd have to move 10 feet towards him, and if you were doing like shock and grasp, like actually reach out,
Yeah,
and
it
cast a
doesn't
spell.
seem like in my character.
Yeah.
You can move somewhere.
You can also do something thematic, like with the just flavor and color if you wanted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You can also dodge, which is like full defense. If someone attacks you, they have a disadvantage on their roll.
Yeah.
You can always do that as well.
You can hide behind me or small.
I feel like I'm gonna like run up to Solomon and be like, "I'm sorry.
Was he like putting out,
Yeah,
like,
like,
putting out the
sorry,
fires on him?
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Cute.
You're
Are you sorry? Are you sorry?
because like his neck is still being like super singed by like the fire.
yeah,
You're
and
putting it out.
No, maybe I'm not even putting that's maybe okay. Maybe I'm putting it out. Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect. Fearg, you following him or are you letting it go?
Oh, we're super focused on Solomon.
Well, Solomon's down and out.
He's out.
Yeah. No, we're gonna let the other two go. We don't care about them.
Okay.
They didn't call us dumb.
I feel like this one of these things bites us in the ass
No,
later.
I feel like I wanted to like touch. I wanted to like touch Ferg, and he like maybe like shock him a little bit, and like he flinches or something.
That's fair. Okay, that happened right before you go.
Ferg just looks around and is like, what the fuck?
Tingly.
You're like
Tingly.
even slightly angrier now.
Yeah.
That's like hit me.
It's like touching a really intense door handle. Like really, really, really intense. Not enough to do damage, but god damn, that's smarty.
Yeah.
When you're pushing a cart.
I know.
Mad.
What is this cart thing?
They build up a lot of static electricity. It's
Oh, you get a bad
bad.
shock. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sometimes.
Just gotta ground yourself out.
You know that time of the month.
In the cold.
So staticky.
Laundry day?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Wait, once a month?
No, you called it.
Damn.
No, I do like.
So still super angry.
Yeah.
You're not drinking this month?
I don't have any alcohol and I'm kind of staying sober, but that's fine. I'll drink coffee. It's fine.
Do you want?
Oh, I don't have anything. I just have a beer. I mean, not.
Beer?
I have a
Counts. Pound it.
soda.
Doesn't count.
Anyway,
Beer?
let Connor finish his turn.
So we're gonna totally boot on Solomon's shoulder and push him flat to the ground.
Okay. You can tell that he actually resists going flat to the ground, like he almost needs to stay in a ball because he can't breathe.
Yeah.
So you kind of try to push him, but he stays in almost like a fetal position as you push him over.
Yeah. Still like half standing on him, yelling, "Who said I took the book? The books stay in the library. What the fuck?" And I had to repair that. I left it there.
And
Like screaming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like screaming it.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna challenge that and say that you kept that book. That that was in fact that at least you thought that it was your textbook.
I wrote my name in it.
That.
Did you write your name?
No, that's Ferg would not have taken a book out of the library.
Uh-huh.
You found it outside the library.
But he didn't. But he didn't. So he wouldn't have taken it out of the library. But I'm
Yeah.
saying that it wasn't a library book. That it was in fact one of your textbooks.
Oh, okay.
That could be why you're so incensed. You thought that he was accusing you of something.
Well, yeah, no, that's.
Of being an idiot.
He accused us of being an idiot, and B, we're incensed because he's saying that we took a book. That we're like,
Yeah.
we didn't take that book.
We would never. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh good, you're putting him out with your boob.
And all he can respond with is.
I don't think he can talk
Oh, I'm sorry.
right
I won't
now.
shake the table.
Do whatever. Don't worry about it.
Oh, my kid would be so
Don't
impressed
talk.
with you right now, and then he would knock it the fuck down.
So would Christine. You guys keep doing your thing. Don't you have to pay attention to me.
Don't breathe at it. I'm just kidding.
Thank you for being here, Fisher.
We'll take a silence to listen to Fisher cough.
So in the meantime,
In the
So she's-
meantime, so we're gonna
Sorry.
give him a swift kick to the knee and be like, breathe and tell us what's going on.
okay. So
And screaming at the top of our
is
lungs.
anyone else
Which
going
is
to take any
pretty
sort of
unintelligible.
combative actions or?
No, but I'll just make my turn. Like as we drop out, I'll make my turn sort of a thematic kind of piece. So like as you're kind of saying that, like Time comes up behind you and kind of like kneels down to him and kind of like mutters some arcane words and basically just says like, you know, here, breathe, and you feel like a little gust of wind as she casts like a cantrip gust, but basically kind of like adds a lot of air to like make it easier to breathe and kind of like help him recover for a moment.
Okay.
I feel like I want to stop, like, touch you again and be like, stop hurting him. If you want him to talk, like, stop. And then
Not
shocking
hurting
you
him,
again.
I'm just holding him
Like,
down.
shocking
Okay.
you again accidentally.
And Farron is like,
Stop touching me.
and Farron, you know, part of that same, like, melee is like, dude, fuck this guy's book. What the fuck is happening?
I don't know. He called me dumb and wants a book that I don't have.
Who the fuck are you people?
I
Like,
feel like
Why are you
Kethkin
here?
So finally, he recovers. The other two guys have run to the ends of the roads, basically waiting for it to sort of connect to the other
Yeah.
level.
Are they
And
gonna call the
and
cops?
in the meantime,
we don't have cops.
Solomon kind of comes around and she said you had the book. She's my friend. I came to rough you up.
My best friend. What the? Shut up.
Well, she clearly doesn't think so highly of you.
Yeah, I know it was a thing, and we haven't talked in like 5 years. But
Well,
I paid the price.
but you still have the book.
Where? Which book again?
Her geometry textbook. You got to know what I'm talking about. She wouldn't send me on a wild goose chase.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I feel like a fucking idiot.
You are a fucking idiot.
Well, so are you.
No,
I mean, I didn't. Snap.
do you want to go again?
And he's like, can't call me an idiot, and I'm calling you an idiot. Maybe we're both
Hey,
idiots.
maybe it's
You know,
best
maybe
not to
Words.
call him an idiot at this moment.
I will.
under his
I
boot.
will kill you and eat your liver.
Oh shit.
Make an
Case in point.
make an intimidation check, actually.
Please.
Can you do it at advantage since I was telling the guy he was situation was dying?
That's a 4.
Okay, so
What? You don't have anything to add to that?
No. Ferg's
So-
not. Ferg's super average, not like super
so this
intimidating.
this has an unintended consequence. So I'll kill you and eat your liver, right? So instead of like freezing and like just kind of shutting up, he bolts, and he bolts quickly.
I want to trip him.
Okay.
I want to try to grab him.
First, roll a contested dex roll with me.
Okay.
Wait, what's he trying to do?
3.
Okay, I got a 6. So he basically gets up and kind of like rolls past your trip and runs to the end of the width side of the road. The road is almost about to connect at this point.
Is there anywhere he can go from the width side?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Which startles you when he jumps off the edge.
Damn it. We yell after him. We left it at the H&M.
And you don't know if he heard you or not.
But
if you look,
we
if
don't
you
care.
look past, if you look down the roadside, he is gently floating down somehow.
So again, we scream, it's at the H&M.
Okay.
It's that H&M.
I'm hoping the echo doesn't make it sound like.
Does anyone have a message?
I feel like it wouldn't be that echoey in a caldera.
It's a big caldera,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not like we're in a canyon. But I mean, there could also, maybe there's a hum for this, like arcane hum. Is this
Yeah,
thing picking us
totally.
up? There could be wind. I'm sure there's always an airflow actually coming up, like 'cause of the heat rising.
We'll
from
see
the
Yeah.
Solomon again
So
one
you know,
day.
hard to say.
And
Um,
before you know it, you feel the platform of the road kind of tilt just a little awkwardly, and then go and lock into place.
And Farron
we-
just starts ushering everybody across. We're moving.
Yeah.
yeah, Ferg's
You can see the two guys that were
ready
waiting
to
for the
go.
road to connect. They start just running off.
Time actually like goes over and like, can you show me where the controls for this is? I'm curious, like,
To Farron?
is it mechanical? Yeah. Is it mechanical? Is that or not mechanical, but like, is there a trigger for these, or did they somehow magically alter the platform?
You know that there is a specific engineer
Okay.
that's up on one of the higher towers that controls these.
So I kind of like,
You tell me that. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that engineer must be in on this. If the platform went at the wrong time.
and then Farron says something like, well, why don't you go talk to him? Like,
I don't care. That's why.
okay, cool. Ushering.
I'll crush him, but I would rather leave.
Back to mushrooms?
Mushrooms.
That sounds good.
Sounds
What was that all about?
I don't...
To the forest.
I want the geometry book that I left at the H&M. And it's,
What's the H&M?
You know, the...
Clothing store.
That's what I keep thinking. So I want to create different
Yeah.
context.
The Hunan and Munin.
The House of the One-Eyed Seeker?
Yes. The House of the One-Eyed Seeker. You know, we call it the H&M because of who
Yeah, Hunan and Munin. Or is it?
Those are the top Hekunin and Minin.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Hookson and Minnie.
Oh, different version.
Hookson and Minnie, they're the statues of Odin's ravens, so we call it the H&M. Only students call it the H&M. Yeah.
Which means you can't.
I was
You're
a
not a
student.
student. But not of the H&M.
No.
So,
Don't appropriate different terms.
you manage to make it up eventually to the crown. And Farron, you charter a ship.
Chartered.
There is a gentleman by the name of Roberts that actually owes you a few. And so
Chartered ships.
this would be,
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
I mean,
Whatever you're into, dude.
Is he a former
Yeah.
Dread Pirate?
former. Come on, that's in his past. Can you not bring that up? It's very offensive.
Air pirate.
He's retired now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for air
And so he
It's happened.
essentially flies you from Rosax to what is the
Cue the Miyazaki type, like sky.
definitely
Oh, yes.
Yeah, don't you see it?
Time is definitely like looking down into
Yeah.
the caldera as we're taking
got a
off though,
beautiful-
because she's wanting to see
beautiful.
like this. She's heard of this like view before and wants to take a look at it. Like look down into the water.
Junebug's definitely like
She's looking for spice blooms.
Junebug's definitely like up on.
Oh yeah, the kitty's there in the window with me.
That's
Right
right
there.
there.
You
You
can-
have to watch too. Though.
Time definitely sees a fair amount of shadows that play off of the water in the caldera. But in terms of spice blooms, like you're way too high to get at me. No pun intended, but to get a sense of any of that from up here.
I'm already calling it spice blooms. I mean algae blooms, but I'm calling it spice.
Right. And the
Ferg's
nearest
sitting in the corner reading.
airstrip is Tyvan Kampunki.
Yeah.
And that is where the airship takes you all.
Yeah, wait, that was where we. Or I was school. I think you went to school there.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's where it was raised.
Yep. And
Fostered at the H&M as a sport.
You just kick the sword.
Aw.
and it's really like an hour's journey. It's really not far at all. Keep in mind that airships, like as I'm sort of defining them, they move a lot slower than, for example, like airplanes in our world. So,
And in this world, it definitely would too, because the way we've defined it, like there wouldn't be a lot of like crazy weather patterns like we talked about, like the wind. There's not a lot of rotation
Yeah.
to the planet, so it's unless magically induced, there's not gonna be much.
right, exactly. So you make it to the the nickname is City in the Sky or City of the Sky.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Tyvan Kampunki.
Quick question about
Tyvan
this. So this airship, so it's piloted by a human.
It's piloted
By He-Man? Is that
by
what you said?
Human.
By He-Man. Yeah.
By
is
He-Man.
piloted.
He-Man Roberts.
Yeah.
Senior.
I was
At the
excited.
very least, a humanoid, but you can't see the pilot.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Roberts is the captain.
Roberts was
Or-
the person that was actually handling all of the charters for each person
Gotcha.
flying. Basically, the person like gathering all the tickets or whatever.
So my question is like, do we know how this like what kind of airship is this? Like, does it fly? Is it human made? Is it like a mechanical airship, or is there sort of some like magical component to
Yes.
this?
So a little bit of both. So it is human made.
Cool.
And aside from that, I would need you to roll an intelligence check, and I would take history if you had history.
Ooh. Can I?
You may. Yeah.
22.
Uh-huh.
15.
I know things.
Okay.
And I drink.
I would
know
say
this.
that both of you
Communicating those things is
are. I would
Oh
say.
no, I.
So much knowledge, very little.
So I'll say that
organization.
Ferg and Time essentially just you guys are having this conversation with each other, and each of you know actually pretty much like the same amount, but it's a sort of like a I recall that such and such. Oh yeah, no, but that's only when blah blah blah. So what you basically uncover is that this is a human-made airship. It is essentially akin to a zeppelin of a sort. And but the energy or the sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? The helium that it would take, for lack of a better term, I don't think it would be helium. It would be hydrogen.
For
Yes.
Zeppelin.
Either would work.
Yeah.
Except hydrogen bad.
Yeah, but I know,
Mushroomy
but I'm
basic
using
thing.
hydrogen as an example in that it does the trick, right? Well, what they use, however, is a burnt the mycelium. They burn it as a source for
For
transfer.
fuel, like
floating.
coal?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That's.
But you don't know this. They know this. Are you guys having this conversation in
Oh,
public?
totally out loud and like.
And by the
I
way,
I feel like
say
you're
too.
like a translator. for
yeah,
it.
and by the
I would
way,
definitely
yeah,
be imparting this information to everybody because knowledge is to be shared.
Yeah, I see you finishing time sentences a lot.
And then time is finishing your sentences before you start them.
Impatiently.
And it's you're like I was just about to say that.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
It gets. Ferg gets really confused and is like trying to be angry, but time is so nice to Ferg that like.
Like she's agreeing with you, but
Ferg
saying the
has to
things
be
you're
nice.
saying.
And also,
Yeah.
you know she knows things that you don't know, so there's like, you can't, like, you
So
want to know those things.
Here's what I'll say to both, probably your objection and Keth's objection. This is so perfectly normal that people use the mycelium to
But Keth
burn.
doesn't know that.
Keth doesn't know that.
And Keth is not cool with
but
that.
may find out in this conversation.
Yeah.
So after like a few minutes to time is kind of like, kind of says some things and she's kind of like concentrating like while you were kind of talking, she's nodding back and forth. She starts like, you see the end of her staff like glow a little bit of this almost like black lighty purple kind of color, and she's like continuing the conversation, but she's kind of like holding it up to like the bulkhead and is kind of like looking at, and you see like these glowing lines of like magical energy you realize kind of like flowing through detect magic, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh yeah, we're talking like it's basically looking at the circuit diagram of magic, so like heading up and like looks upwards into like, oh yeah, and we're just having a fun
First starts
discussion.
explaining all the reasons for those specific connections, like, oh, this one does this, and like that's why it floats.
Absolutely,
And you can see those patterns.
weather patterns.
You can see those patterns of energy actually like moving at a certain point, almost like veins and arteries.
Yeah.
And some of them are glow brighter at certain points, and then they just kind of travel on through. It's as if this ship is powered by way more than just, a special kind of air that keeps the ship afloat. It's like a, I don't know, like you're thinking maybe the metal itself is enchanted to be somewhat lighter, although still durable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see Time kind of like, hold her staff up almost like a flashlight and like kind of puts her hand down in some of these like pulsating lines, and can you see her like kind of try to focus on it to try and like kind of play with it, and nothing happens. She just kind of goes back to like looking around.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I would just kind of like be sitting there silently, kind of like listening to them, like absorbing all this, and ask like, how many people do this?
Everyone.
What do you mean?
This is how humans get around.
But it's wrong.
Why?
The mycelium gives to us what it chooses to. Taking from it will not end well for anyone.
I don't know.
you hear like a couple of seats in front of you. You hear
This is not symbiotic.
fucking half-orc hippies.
And Fearg is like, no, the mycelium is a resource. It's here for everyone to use.
Yeah, I mean it's practically infinite.
Yeah, it's not like.
We're
We'll
never
never run
gonna
out.
I have a question.
Oh my god, I love what you guys are doing right now. It's hilarious.
I have a question
That
about
worked
how would
There's no climate change. Come on.
Sparky think of the mycelium? Like, I imagine from the place that she's from, that it wouldn't be thought of it. Mycelium wouldn't be thought of as sentient at all. Like, just totally fodder and like to be used. Especially to a kid, like a kid who doesn't know, like, oh, you kill chickens to
Something
eat
else
chicken.
rules.
Faustine has a pretty corrupt government system. I don't know though what they would.
I feel like they probably wouldn't teach their children that it's a bad thing to use the mycelium.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely
This
not.
is how-
I'm just trying to figure out what am I
Farron
confused about?
definitely
Like, why are,
gives
I get that you're
Keth
upset
one of
about
these.
something.
Like you're on my level.
Yeah.
Keth is like oddly
you're not gonna
comforted
say
by
anything.
that. Like he was starting to feel
Like,
like
gives you, like,
he,
a what's
like
up.
am I in the right group of people? Like this is you're all just okay with this, and then he sees that and he's like, okay, maybe I should stick with them and see what happens.
Like, could I say, like, what's, like, would I even know what that is? Like, what's mycelium? Like, would I know what that is?
Say that.
What's mycelium?
It fuels our world.
Yeah, it's the energy that we use
Yeah,
to
fuel.
make everything.
Yeah,
Fuel.
Farron's
No.
like Loomy, hand on head.
This
Loomy,
it
Loomy,
fuels
Loomy.
the world. We don't
Oh my god.
Oh sweet
take
child.
the fuel. This is not.
It's
I have
there
so much
for
to
us
teach you.
Use, though.
It's just like we're just like the plants taking the energy from the sunlight that falls upon us. This too is a resource that we utilize as it's part of our world. There is magic everywhere, and this is
I
a
see your
a
views are
concentrated piece
different,
of that.
and I respect that yours are not mine. But I can't condone this. I'd like to not travel in these as much as possible.
Again.
I actually saw like when you said that like that like that you like swallowed your anger. Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I see that her
fastest way to get around,
views.
though.
Different.
Well, yeah, and you probably feel differently about the group that you're traveling in. Like, there's maybe some comfort, but obviously you didn't protest about it.
No, I
like,
chartered this flight.
Yeah.
Which is when I walk over to you and let you know that 10% out of every ticket He's given back to mycelium air quality control.
We've subsidized.
I really
Industry.
like parents.
Right?
Kath just
And
kind of
morality.
nods. He just nods.
My grandparents.
He's back to observing. He wants to understand you people.
My grandparents used to talk about the mycelium like that, but they were also, you know, they didn't have all of these wonderful advancements that this provides us. The quality of life is better than it's ever been.
Sounds.
Wow, this is very.
Quality of life for who?
Everyone.
Civilization.
For all of civilization, an old man kind of turns around and like inserts himself into the conversation.
I mean, we use these
Let me tell you
to help
something.
people.
I used to think just like you, that this was a finite resource, but there is no indication that this is ever going to go away. Diviners, I see you with the, he kind of points to like a symbol on your person that denotes your status. And he's like, diviners, just exactly such as this woman, have frequently looked into the past and the future to see the levels of which we are using the mycelium as a resource. There's no indication that it's running out. None.
It's not so much about it being a finite resource so much as if you took the time to learn to listen or tried, you would understand that this is not ideal for everyone on the earth.
They can talk?
Yeah.
Things?
Hey,
Yeah.
that has
He's a
never been
listener.
proven, actually.
Wait, what? They can.
Have you been to
They
the
can
forests
talk and
of
we're
Kashar?
burning.
No, I haven't, and anyone
I've
in their
never
right
heard them
mind
speak.
wouldn't go to the Kashar Forest, and you know
Does-
exactly why.
Does Farron know at this point that you're from the Kashar Forest?
Yeah, because when we were all in your room, we
Yeah.
talked about me being able to help you, guide you to the
Yeah.
the
Because
Schrodinger's
we knew
mushroom.
that
Well,
we knew that he was a listener.
Does it exist?
I'm gonna say, like, Farron definitely has this attitude of like, I know you're right. I know you're right. I know you're right. God, I need.
But I don't know how to fix
But
it.
Yeah.
but convenience. Think about it.
No. No, he's right. He's right.
Keth just kind of takes it to excuse himself, and he goes and meditates
Yeah.
quietly in the corner for the rest of the flight about his situation.
And Farron gets like real
Like,
weepy
I want you to say to
and
him,
like,
I'm like,
kind of like,
you need some.
not weepy, but
Listen, I'm
Ferg just explains
with
the
you,
whole thing,
FYI. These
The whole
conspiracy
aspect of
theories
destiny.
are just
Stupid
way over my
detail.
Right
head.
about
And you're just
He
like,
sits back down and
why?
does his own thing.
But then,
'Cause
but
it's
then
too
why
much
would you
info.
why would you be okay with burning them if you understand?
Oh, wait, I never said that Ferg understood. I just said Ferg had the info.
I mean, have you ever eaten mushrooms? They're useful.
My mom makes some like
Man,
stew with them. Yeah.
And your body burns them for energy. We're just burning them for flight.
I'm super into that.
Oh,
you're
you're
so
so
right.
confused.
My brother, in fact, I mean, without this technology, my brother, you know, wouldn't be alive today. The ability to travel quickly between two locations saved his life. Like, he was hurt, and we brought him to a healer.
I feel like
with
you're
one of these.
treating your relationships a lot less like objects when you are talking about your family.
Well,
The
he
family.
also has a aspect that connects him directly to his brother. Which I was going to say, the moment you say that, Time, you get a sort of heartwarming, connective feeling to your brother. Like it's as if your brother sort of felt you talking about it.
And so, like, I imagine we're sitting down right now, and you hear like Junebug start purring kind of loudly. Yeah, I feel it too.
Why do you always have a cat with you?
This is Junebug.
Okay,
Ferg
so
just, like, scritches.
Scritchy scritch.
so at a certain point,
Looks at you,
Breaks the
like you're
fourth
weird.
wall for me.
you the airship lands. It's never super jarring, but it's always a little rougher than you think. And the door opens up. All of the ushers usher you towards the exits, thanking you for flying. What would this be called? Pan Rosax? I don't even know. And ushers you out into the
It's a commuter shuttle.
the landing strip of Tyvan Kompuki.
It's Alaska Airlines.
Yep. And immediately, what you know to do at this point is to, if you are getting horses for the journey. You'll want to, you know exactly where to go to like rent them. They're not cheap, so all of you, it's probably not gonna, might be better on foot.
Got it.
Just in terms of just the
If we're going
Yeah.
through Kashar, you'd be better on foot, regardless. I think.
Cool.
Would
Oh.
you be
We
okay with us
listen to
using
you.
horses?
well, but Farron, you know that you're not going through Kashar. That would be not a smart
Oh,
idea.
no?
No. People who go into the Kashar forest never come out.
But I'm very engaged with the idea of going through Kashar because I'm with somebody from the Kashar forest.
Yes,
I'm
but
really
that
excited
doesn't.
about that.
Unfortunately, that doesn't account for the rest of your companions.
Oh, I'm torn about that, but that's cool.
But so I mean, Ferg told Ren that Keth was a listener and could navigate us through if need be, way back when. So
You know, every once in a while,
listeners still lose people.
yeah,
That's fair.
they can really only account for themselves.
That's totally fair. Hmm.
Why not go around?
Yeah, we can just go around.
It's actually really not far, and the location that you need to go to is on the outskirts of the forest, not necessarily in. So that's
Yeah.
moving in your favor.
What what direction of the forest? Like what outskirts? Is
It would be
west?
the western outskirts, kind of the southwestern outskirts.
Okay.
And so there you go. You get off the landing strip. You enter Taivan Kampuki proper. It's very much a groundling-based town. Nothing fancy, although they do have a wonderful Mycolog. And
My alma mater.
yeah, exactly. And
Oh yeah, because you went to Zalia.
and if
Zalaria.
neither of you have any business in Taivan Kampuki, I'm going to say that you guys basically go straight to the outskirts and head straight into the wild, or you could stay the night in town, like for one night, and then head on through. But you really have only traveled about an hour on Airship. Like, you guys are feeling a bit spry.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
let's keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So you,
I'm not worried about that geometry book.
Farron, you know that the journey is going to be about a 2.5 day journey. So there's going to be camping involved for sure. Yes.
I mean, unless we're going, going out camping and resting right away. Can we say we had like a short rest on the Zeppelin?
Oh, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't do any damage.
Yeah, the Zeppelin would be like the perfect short rest.
I need one rest.
Question?
Moisture.
Well,
Is it
I try to avoid
Generally speaking,
Like 90 cents out.
Moisture.
You guys feel that?
Mushrooms. My psyllium needs moisture. So, what's the moisture level of this area?
This is a real moist forest.
Yeah. It's-
Moist forest.
Oh yeah.
It is dank and damp.
Moist.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those who love the word.
So
Moist.
Rainy, like do we need
Moist
shelter?
shelter,
Like
to me. I feel like it sounds moist when I say it.
That's a good word. Moist sounds moist.
it's so damp and moist.
what are you doing?
Okay.
Oh!
It's getting weird, guys.
You just ate a criminy.
I love eating those raw.
It's magic.
I don't know, I almost just reached out and tried to catch it. Just like reflex.
Rush it.
Wait, that's not my.
We're like hella in character eating
Okay.
mushrooms.
Anyone else need a cybo trip?
Nah, I don't like mushrooms.
I like mushrooms. I just can't eat them raw.
Okay. No, I don't want one, but take an inspiration point just for
Having a bag of mushrooms.
for thematic funsies.
Hey, it's fine.
Hit the sword. This one.
Oh, it's in your bag.
The cut in half.
No, that would have been cool though.
What
So
happened to the drunk tank to the person who's the drunkest after the game? We still do that?
You feel like you might win tonight?
I feel like I might win a lot.
So as you make your way out of the Taivan Kampuki, the city of the sky, You head into sort of a rocky plains that quickly shifts in elevation as you begin to. Some of you kind of don't notice, but I would say some of you very much notice that the elevation is getting higher and higher. And eventually, you are taken to the outskirts of the Kashar forest.
Interrupt
You
for
did.
me.
Yeah.
And
And
around the outskirts of this forest, you eventually get to a known trail that is basically the sort of start of your journey inside of looking for what you're looking for.
Been here a million times.
Been here a million times, yeah. Yeah, so the...
you're like showing us your little like your signs on trees and things.
A billion times.
Safe area.
This is where I squirted on a guy.
Yeah.
That's a good story from a friend last week.
So looking for the Strassman Collective. This trail follows an old road, clearly built long ago, leading into an area known as the Jawbone Flats, along the little north fork of the Grundle River. Past some old growth trees in this ancient wilderness. I mean, these trees are huge.
Beautiful.
About a half a mile from an old and unused gate of a sort. The road continues on and it crosses a creek on a 60-foot high bridge and begins to climb gradually. So again, like now you can really feel the elevation, like really climbing. Shortly after this nameless creek, a spur trail leads down to the right to the Grundle with several access points to both abandoned mines tapped long ago and the actual Grundle River. Several hundred feet farther up the road, a trail that Farron knows as Whetstone Mountain. That's the trail. The Whetstone Mountain Trail intersects to your left. So about a mile and a half into your hike, you enter a grove that was once home to the July Mining Company that built the Jawbone Flats a long time ago, like a great many decades ago. Now, I just want to point out that the last name of your mother is July.
My adoptive mother?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you really don't know anything about your real parents.
I probably don't know that much about the history of my adoptive parents either.
Right,
Yeah.
but the one thing that you do know is that her last name is July, and that just strikes you
Her
as
maiden name.
Well, they never actually took either of those names. They stuck with so yeah, her last name, her family name is July.
Okay.
So could be nothing. And
Am I aware of this?
I'm telling you
this
because
on-
you're aware of
I'm
it, yeah.
reading. Okay.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. It just kind of strikes you as odd. You're like, oh, or maybe interesting.
And
Could
I'll
it
probably tell you.
could be a coincidence?
Ooh, it's my mom's name.
About a mile and a half into the hike, you enter into a grove that was again once home to the July Mining Company. And as you enter this grove, you see someone in the distance, a lone person, and they are clearly watching you from afar. They seem to have a bit of somewhat of a quarterstaff in their hand. They're not moving. They're just watching you.
Look at that. There's somebody over there.
And I'm like,
Hey.
I kind of like squeeze you to my side, like, I'm just gonna. We're
Yeah,
good.
there's like
We're
a
good.
spark shooting on my finger.
Yeah, we're good right here.
Don't let them know that we see them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw my quarterstaff as well and just kind of wait and see what happens.
The person is not moving at all. It just seems to be observing you.
What would you know? I feel like what would your inclination be to do with this? Like,
I don't know, can I make like an insight check or something?
Yeah.
Or like what would my character, or would I know anything about this area?
Would you know anything about this area? I would say Farron knows the most about this area.
Oh yeah.
It's that creepy old guy.
I will say like maybe you know something about this area. Go ahead and make a survival check, actually.
Okay.
Because I'm curious as to whether or not you've ever wandered into
Can
this
I also
area.
make a survival check?
No, because
I got an 8.
you already know this information.
Oh, I do.
You have never been here.
Yeah.
This is a very new place for you.
Okay.
And so I would say that, given the fact that, first of all, you don't know who this is, you don't know anything about them, aside from the fact that they have a quarterstaff in their hand and they're just, at the very worst, just staring at you.
Yeah, totally. I wasn't taking my quarterstaff out aggressively, more like a tentative, like,
Right.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Fearg always just has the red pencil, just
Your
like,
guess
over
is
their
that this
shoulder,
is
like,
just someone who lives off the land
Yeah.
and chooses to live
Yeah.
here.
So I'm like, we're just gonna keep walking. It's good.
doing all
Don't
the
point.
Sword.
So you keep walking, and you find immediately that as you keep walking, that's going to take you right into the path of this guy.
Okay.
Except that this person just quickly kind of dips past a large piece of rusted out machinery, and kind of just fades into the forest.
Fearg asks Ren, like, do you know what? Do you know who that was?
And I'm just like, it's just a guy who lives here, local guy. It's harmless.
Cool. Okay.
He will stand
Yeah.
his ground though. You gotta
Yeah.
watch out.
Just like respect. Respect is piece of land, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
So now you're a total in about 2 miles, and I will say that all of you are kind of feeling your day catch up with you at this point. Yeah, it's. I mean, like, you're maybe drinking maybe more water than you were before. You can
Yeah.
feel your muscles
Yeah.
ache, your leg muscles. It might be time
Had
to
beat
camp.
somebody up.
Yeah.
But that I'll leave that up to you. Do you guys want to push forward, or do you want to actually like?
I'm in no rush.
camp
Sparky
out?
just told me they were tired, so I carry them.
Yeah,
for the
I
rest
need
of the
nap
day.
time.
Okay.
Snacks. Do we carry snacks for you?
She's very small compared
I have
to me. Like, I
snacks.
feel like she's like,
I have snacks. I
Yeah.
got lots of snacks in my pack.
Yeah, you got a snack pack.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
backpack.
as you do.
Fearg's totally down for just stopping and camping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Okay.
No hurry.
You stop and you camp. Remember the fact that we have much longer days than your average 24-hour Earth day. So you guys are at the end of your day. The sun has gone down, and you can see 2 of the moons very, very visible. One's kind of at half mast, and the other one is just like full on. So it's very, very lit out here tonight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we lit.
So I hadn't thought about this until right now. The longer days are going to mean longer time between rest. So that's going to be.
Well, theoretically, but it depends on what time of year it is, because wouldn't the
I mean,
nights be long?
So I'm gonna argue that this is more of a thematic thing in terms of the number of hours, and more like everything scales appropriately.
Okay.
Like if life developed on this planet, it's not like Earthlings got transported here, right? It's like life developed on this, so it's like I think we can still treat it intuitively like a 24-hour cycle for us.
Okay.
We're gonna adjust like wording of things for the game. Like I'm not
Okay.
unless you want to do something different for it. I think we still treat it like a normal
Well,
day cycle for us. It's just
yeah.
we thematically it's told differently and sounds
I
differently.
mean, I'm fine if you want to be strict about it. I just want to know. So I'm.
Let's just say that occasionally you'll find yourself camping when it's not getting dark. Like
Yeah.
like when you just your body's like, wow.
Yeah, because still you can
we've
only
gotta
like march
rest.
for so many hours.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
still treat our body treats it. Maybe we need like a midday nap, right?
It just so happened
Yeah.
that coming into this area,
Secondsies.
coming into this area, like the majesticness of the area kind of kept you going. Kind of had you like, wow, oh my God, what? Look at these trees, and wow, look at the look at the river that just comes through here. It's quite an amazing piece of scenery. So that kind of kept you going, and then suddenly you were like, it just hit a wall.
Yeah.
All right, you camp. Anything I need to know about your camping?
I'd say time stays up like after everybody goes to bed for a while. So kind of like not like formally asks for like a watch or anything along those lines, but she kind of just ends up staying up for a few hours. like.
Are we
functionally
making a
acting like watch.
campfire camping?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'd say
maybe, like,
Keth
one-
would probably
like-
cook everybody some stew.
And Farron
Trade
forages some really delicious grub because Farron knows
Hell yeah.
this area and is like really into that and like kind of hopefully like bonds with Keth over
Like,
like
we make some stew together.
like, oh, you're a good cook. Like, look at all these victuals I brought you.
I'm really stoked about your vittles.
Yeah.
Ferg
I'm gonna
is
pack.
like, I've never had food this good before.
Oh.
Well, because Ferg's used to eating in like shitty taverns.
Yeah.
Like,
And the
I like to
cafeterias.
think
the
like
Michael Log
we're more like
cafeterias,
the mountaineer
no
type,
way
so
no.
we're like
Yeah.
flexing
Yeah.
a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh, we're gonna take care of everybody
Protein mushroom blends.
and
Yeah.
take care of them right.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like I want to like.
Time says that she always, or is it has always loved your cooking.
Keth is just kind of like accepting the way you speak now and just says thank you. Like, I appreciate that.
I feel like I'm gonna
Is
like fall
Farron,
asleep and okay, keep talking and then.
No, just fine. Listen, there's always at the table. There's always going to be a push and pull of like people competing to talk, and I think that that's great. And all I ask is that everyone kind of like it's that balancing game of like respecting when someone else is talking. Then sometimes you pull back, but yeah, go for it.
I feel like I would fall asleep and then wake up and hang out with Time and be like maybe ask you a few questions and like what
You want to know?
what like
Tell me
didn't you say something in the last session that was like something kind of or have I created this since then because it's been a while
I'm gonna roll with whatever you come up with anyway. So let's do this.
like I don't know I just feel like I get this sense that you might know something about my birth parents and like ask you something like I'm like questioning you and I'm also like playing with my shit because I've never been fucking camping before.
So it's a oddly frustrating
Literally playing with
conversation
fire.
in that occasionally she will say things that sound like there may be some insight back to your parents, but it's like
Speaking riddles.
yeah, it's riddles and it's also there. It's an odd interplay of like she doesn't start talking about a thing until you mention that thing.
God damn it, Miss Cleo.
But no, so it's kind of like a, you know, you're talking about your parents, and so she's saying some things about your parents, and roughly related to what you're talking about, right? But then, like, do you know their names or something along those lines?
I don't think so.
Okay, and so she doesn't know. their
Maybe I
names
know
either
that
right
they
now.
were wizards or something. Maybe I know that. I'm not sure yet.
Mm-hmm. And the moment you mention something along those lines, like she says, like, yeah, at such and such place, like, but she's like, I don't know where that is. Like, so it's the moment
Just
you
like-
mention something, she's like, she says something about it, and you're like, how do you know that? You're like, well, you just told me, but no, I didn't, and it's
Yeah.
really a frustrating conversation.
Confusing and
Yeah.
just like more confusing. I'm left more confused than when I started.
Yeah.
But I will also say that you're at that perfect age too that maybe you find Time's way of speak a bit mysterious and fascinating.
Yeah, and not yeah.
And she's
maybe
paying
not
attention to you. She's
off-putting.
fully respecting you and
Yeah,
like
and not
listening to you.
off-putting, just not necessarily illuminating. It's just raising more questions than giving answers. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, and Time like, yeah, fair. And Time like kind of when we have a moment, we're like if we're like paused for a bit and like looking at the fire, she goes like, the fire you made today was amazing. Like you know,
Damage.
the for the guy on the platform.
No.
Poor
no.
Solomon.
I don't understand why I'm hurting people. I don't want to hurt people. I just wanted to stop him.
Well, and just don't hurt people. He's okay, for now. But how do you control the magic? I study. I learn. I read. Like I've.
Even as he
Change
says
the
the word
flow.
control, you feel like there's something brimming at the edge of your aura of who you are that just wants to like let something loose that is horrifyingly dangerous and destructive.
Flumps.
As we're talking about this too, like she's kind of like
Can those
you
be
see
in
her
the
like.
wild? Can those be in the wild here? And just one like floats by.
What's a flump?
We'll tell you about flumps.
You'll find out hopefully later on.
Yeah, yeah, baby. So as we're talking and like she's talking about that, right? You see her kind of like looking around and kind of like adjusting things, but she's like, yeah, you know, how do you control the magics? And like she kind of sit here like that, and you see her like start taking her. No, it's like she like takes her staff and kind of like starts like working it in a circle, and you see
Work it.
the fire kind of starts spiraling a little bit,
You have
like a little
thing.
gust of
I don't
wind.
have anything. It just comes out. I don't have anything that I don't know what. I don't mean to do anything. I don't even.
Interesting. You must be
Right when she says
you
that,
must be one of natural talent.
right when she says that, there's this like little lick of electricity that leaps out and shocks you. It's very uncomfortable. Doesn't do you any damage, but it's just like, ooh.
And she goes, oh, Sparky. I should have known that, or I did know that. I knew that. She's like, oh, you're a natural talent. I've heard of you, of your type.
The fire's fading in a delightful
haven't.
manner. Coals are starting to.
Unless you plan on banking this fire, I think I'll retire for the evening to recharge.
So
And I
all-
just stay up all night.
Goddamn teenagers.
Not quite.
so
I'm
you all
younger than that.
you all go to sleep except for
I've
Sparky,
been
of course?
asleep.
You've been. You just,
Oh, I've
I
been
feel like
asleep
you
too.
sleep like a rock.
Oh, yeah.
You just
Are you
like.
elf? So you're like meditating if you're
Elf
an
plus?
Gotcha. You're like meditating.
yeah.
Mhm.
Elves don't really sleep.
I'm just over there.
I mean, you could certainly be on your back and meditate, but like,
No,
it's
It looks
it's
like I'm sleeping.
less. It's more of a lucid.
It's like a
Waking, yeah.
Marshall,
You
just
guys
like
know.
controlled dissociation.
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, it's basically.
All
I'm
right.
just controlled breathing over here for a long time.
Ferg totally just went to sleep after eating. Like, oh, this is really good. Like, curled up.
Camping is fun.
Aww.
All right, let's do this.
For Ferg, it's just work.
Okay, can we do a field trip show where we do like
Yeah,
a
we've already
mushroom
talked about it.
hunting? I mean, your character doesn't have to. Take
We're gonna do it in the
mushrooms.
spring.
We talked about this. Was
Yeah,
that
we're
there?
gonna get some morale.
Okay.
On that note, this was a
GoPro.
present that she gave me for Christmas. First off, apart from the fact
So
it looks like
penis-like.
like a
I
dick.
don't know why it does, yeah.
It's a little mushroom knife.
Yeah, so it's a little mushroom knife. So you can go out with this and harvest.
Cute.
And there's also a little brush.
I got some GoPros I can borrow, but it's audio. Aww.
Also penis.
Okay, so
Tiny penis.
And you're all dead.
everybody's sleeping.
Except for a teenager.
I would say that that
I'm finally passed out.
you're finally passed out. So, Farron, you're really the
I'd say my
only.
cat's kind of up watching because that's what my cat does. Ish. You
Yeah.
know, curled up sleeping. But
Can
like,
your
maybe
cat
doesn't.
be like sleeping on my meditative person that's just absent?
No, cat's with me.
Could you write your passive perception of your cat down on there? But for right now, I'm gonna say
Yeah, you do whatever.
that Farron, you are broken out of your meditation by hearing a very audible snap in the woods. Now, it breaks you out of your meditation in the sense that it doesn't like startle you,
Okay.
like you're not like up. Because you know that kind of stuff happens in the wilderness, and you've learned not to like react to it so like
Right.
heavily. That being said, you did hear it.
So I'm up.
What?
Yeah, just what you said. I feel like it's probably nothing. I'm continuing to just sit there, and I'm maybe a little more on like heightened alert, but like I'm not concerned at this point.
Okay. When you allow your senses to back down a little bit, you take a breath, look over at Sparky. There's this nice little purring happening over there. You basically have gotten into a clearing, right? So the grasses are, you've kind of like pushed all the kind of tallish grasses down and maybe like laid out a blanket so that you guys can sleep without grass being in your face and that kind of thing. You suddenly see a silhouetted form go on the far side of the fire from where you are, and it's just like there and it's gone
I have dark vision.
in a moment.
Can I see?
Make a perception check. It might have been beyond your dark vision.
What do I do?
Add your perception plus. I
Mm,
think it's wisdom.
oh, plus 5.
Mhm.
15.
Oh wow, that was some kind of a person. that just went in and out of, like in your field of vision and then right back out.
Okay.
And
That's creepy.
and then from behind you, suddenly you're
real scared.
an arm goes around your neck,
Uh-huh.
and all you hear is, and we're gonna roll for initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only
Give
dreams
me the
now.
popcorn.
I think you put some dill in your mouth.
Stressy.
Oh, okay.
Can I write on it this time?
Yeah.
I like writing on things.
16.
So we didn't get a long rest.
You did not get a long rest.
13. Wait, do I
Yes.
minus
Yes.
1?
I would allow you to roll a hit die for a short rest
12.
if that gave you some hit
12,
points
sorry.
back. I would allow that.
You probably short rested on the Zeppelins. That's when you probably got your hit points back
I
then.
got
Yeah.
I'm super
11.
into
I'm
this
just
popcorn.
It's good, right?
It's growing on me.
Yeah.
I know,
What
you
did everyone else
flinched
roll?
the last couple times.
Bill
Salt.
rolled
That's a
a
D12.
4.
That's my hit die.
But I'm gonna have a surprise round.
Yeah.
you rolled a 4.
I rolled a 4, but I'm gonna have a surprise round. So I'm gonna go first, and then we're gonna start at the top.
So is that.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you've been great going first.
21.
Fisher says 30 more minutes for
Cool.
for the goods. Okay, so
Fearg. F-E-A-R.
Fearg. Fearg.
Fearg. Yeah.
Yeah.
18 formula. Or 17, sorry, 17 for me. Time. Get this away from
What'd you get, Rin?
16.
Oh, I have a new favorite popcorn flavor.
It might be discontinued soon, but right now it's only $2 a bag.
whoa, crazy.
Not
So
like $5 a bag. Stock.
So Ren, I am going to make a kind of a grapple check against you.
Okay.
And I'd like to do a contested roll against you. It's basically going to be athletics versus athletics. So I need you to roll an athletics roll for me, please.
Okay.
Okay then.
Oh, you're saying this is different than like a normal grapple?
Dude, that hopped all your other dice. That was
The
dope.
base
Yeah.
right
14.
now, because
14.
they got the drop
greater
on
dexterity.
Ren, is like athletics versus
Didn't even
athletics.
knock it. It was
It,
just like,
later on, if you wanted to add in acrobatics, you're more than welcome.
14 is my roll.
Okay,
The
so
roll of 15.
so this
Strength isn't.
this creature
Your strength.
basically has you by the neck and is basically choking the air out of you. You take no damage right now, but essentially you're locked down and you can't move. You don't have any other minuses other than that, but you basically can't move.
Can I move my arms?
Yes, you can move everything else. Like you can take normal actions.
sucker.
That's fair. And then the other one on the other
It's very
side.
similar to our last.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna break that down in a D10. So 1, 2 for you, and so on and so forth around the table. That is a 6. So 2, 4, 6. So Fearg.
Damn it.
You're fine.
If I get hurt, I think we should go.
Let's see.
I will.
Um,
Well, Bill goes after both of us.
Here, finish that.
are you hit with a 14? And
I can do it.
because you're sleeping, you don't get your. Or
That's a tie.
what's your AC normally?
14.
Oh, it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So essentially, what happens is that, and I want to say at first, you feel like it's a weird, fucked up prank of like some of your new companions that you don't really know that well, because this person basically slams down all their body weight on you, and at first you think it's gonna end, but then they just start like pounding their fists into you.
Ooh, struggle snuggle.
That's
not good. We call this one the struggle. Struggle snuggle. Dislike.
Sorry,
Instant
I got
rage.
wrestling with it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, cool.
And you take 4 points. Wait, let me just double check.
Oh,
there.
you're not ready.
Yeah,
Yes, you
yeah.
can't.
4 points of damage.
Okay.
All
So-
four.
in just like
use that hit die for
It's-
nada.
it's almost like a
been
series of like
seven.
like 2 or 3 blows like at once, plus like the body weight that came
Yeah.
thrusting down upon you.
Yeah, girl.
And it
Talk to
just
me.
and when you wake up and you expect to see your companions and you're pissed, you see the barest form of a creature that, oh god, you don't think this is human or any humanoid you've
Generic
ever
Cobra?
seen in your life. First of all, they don't really
They're
have
people.
eyes anymore. They
Wow.
have growths over their eyes that and their teeth are so like gnarled and like rotted, but the ones that are still left are very sharp. And their nails are grotesquely long. But they're actually not clawing at you. What they're doing is they're using their bare meaty fists to just pound the living hell out of you. And suddenly there's a
Bare meaty
lot
flesh.
of noise in the camp. That was my surprise round. Ferg.
Ferg no likey.
I really like Ferg. Can I just say that?
Ferg ragey.
Everybody.
Now, can you
Thanks.
rage? How many times can you rage a day?
Dos.
Oh, so this is your second.
This is my second.
Got it.
You
Don't-
don't get that read.
Don't fucking
Yeah,
wake
short
up
rest.
a
No.
librarian barbarian. 'Cause then- oh,
Say that 10 times fast.
I can't.
I can't get through one.
By the end of this game, you can.
Right? Totally out of like pure reaction, the red pencil is like next to us, but we grabbed the iron tome that we were sleeping on as a pillow and just like bash the creature in the face.
Okay. And it's just sort of like still pounding on you like some kind of an ape or something like that. Just and
Yeah.
just making a horrid sound. Just
Yeah. That's a terrible noise.
I'm
really
so
awful.
scared of chimpanzees. It's really
Chimpanzees
scary.
don't
Does he,
sound
does
like
he
that.
run into them a lot?
They go for your face, your hands.
That was good.
Yeah.
I call it a third thing.
Yeah, and we're just
She's been
probably
here 10 years.
fucking chimpanzee.
we don't know what it is, so we're just like, get the fuck off.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Just turned on.
God damn it. You
Book
hit
interference?
with an 11.
I in fact am.
Oh shit!
Awesome.
Ooh,
You're what?
Hit with an 11.
that's low.
That's good. That's good for us
Yeah.
as our Lobby characters.
Means he's a weenie.
And it takes 8 points of damage.
Oh,
Points.
Fist? Or what are you doing?
Tone damage.
Iron Tome. It's basically a
Late fees.
club mace thing.
I don't check.
So you just
Ooh,
thrust it
go
up in his
for it.
face, and I'm gonna say that the lighting is
I
so low that you're right next to the fire. But I will say that's
like
the
pickles.
only reason why you didn't get a disadvantage because of your eyes essentially.
Yeah.
You thrust that up in its face, and you hit it. You just don't know to what extent.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't even been a thrust. It would have been like grab from behind the head and like smack across.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
and
just get off.
I will say that you, in addition to that you actually knock it off of you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We like.
Anything else that you do? That was basically you environmental action. You grabbed your thing.
Yep.
You struck it somewhere in the
Bonus action.
face or shoulder or whatever.
I have no bonus actions yet. We're gonna stand up.
Okay, so that's half your movement. So it's 15 feet.
Um,
You got 15 feet left, and it is. I'm gonna say that
environmental action. Damn it.
it might be prone, but you think that it's pretty good on all fours.
We're gonna hold there until we can pick up the red pencil.
Okay, got it.
Jesus, that was a loud one.
I'm gonna get
was great.
drunk, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm
Cheers
gonna
to
need
that.
some more tequila soon.
So that would lead us to time.
Tastes like a tropical vacation.
It's time.
Yeah.
Alright, so Time is suddenly aware of everything that is going on, and goes, we need some more light for this scenario. So she leaps up and sort of with a, stands up. She's near the fire, right?
Right.
So
Keep going.
okay. She kind of like sweeps her hands, and you feel that like gust of wind kick up, and something happens.
And right before the gust of wind picks up, and you actually whirl around, it's daytime. And you whirl around to see all of your companions, but they look a lot different than, do they? I'm not even sure. There are all of these people in this field. This field is very well manicured and maintained. There are a fair amount of flying vessels in this huge field. One of which has a symbol. Why don't you make a knowledge history check real quick?
26.
It is very
know
much
everything.
Not well organized though.
it's kind of an antiquated version, like it's kind of been updated and like spruced up a bit, but it is the symbol of the city of Fallenstein. And one of the biggest flying vessel, actually, it's like a giant zeppelin, has this symbol on it. And there are a bunch of people that are sort of milling about, both like workers on the airfield, and also like you would imagine like really really dirty folk. You would imagine they would probably be miners, and
So like under 18.
I just want to say.
so like, yeah.
Thanks.
And it's funny, Jill. I was talking to Jill about this scene earlier, and I mentioned miners, and she was like, "Okay, wait, you mean like miners or miners or like
Like
she
you
was-
could be minor.
Yeah,
It's real
Mine's
weird.
a minor.
well younger,
Oh.
That's what she was.
I thought it'd be like they're under the ground.
Yeah, no. Anyway, to back up a little bit, so you see all this, and you go to just kind of instinctively check on Sparky, and your vision is back to night. And Sparky is just sort of like getting up and startled pretty much just as much as everyone. And you're back. Or you're forward. Wait, where are you?
Yeah. When am I? That's what I ask. When am I? Oh. Yeah. I need light. And so she like continues the flow, like almost like she actually hadn't stopped moving, right? It's kind of just like the flash all combined to that. And so she finished, like, did she get to complete her turn kind of thing? Or,
Yeah.
That's cool. I like
Totally.
that. She's almost like chiding herself, in her mind, like, I should have like felt my rope while I was in the vision, but I didn't. So she completes her twist, and the gust, like you hear kind of like the rattle of like wood clicking against wood as like pieces of log gets like blown onto the fire, and the air kind of like feeds the fire, like stokes the fire, kind of bring it back up the lights to try and like start building that this turn.
Right. So the light is what, a 20-foot radius?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a campfire, right? So
Yeah.
it's
totally.
a big torch.
Yeah, it basically like flares to life using the the last of its sort of like wood source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
And I'm gonna say that the June goes and like stands next to Sparky and kind of just like on her haunches.
Okay.
Oh, the kitty?
Yeah, the kitty's like goes next to you.
How big is
Was
your
that-
dog?
I just need to see this.
Oh,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
House cat, but on the bigger side of house cat.
Like Maine Coon size?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm sorry if this makes you angry. Throwing in
Just
for
breaks the
elements.
fourth wall a little bit.
What breaks the fourth wall?
Oh, I actually have a cat
It's
named
Will's
June.
actual cat that's a Maine Coon. Named Junebug.
Coon.
She's like part Maine Coon, part things. Yeah.
Ren,
I'll show you
Yes.
a picture. She's super cute. Here, June.
They will
you've got that arm
right.
around you.
So I grab my dagger.
Okay, so you're basically trying to just
Yeah.
stab it in the
You
face.
just
Yeah, I hear you.
licked off everyone in Britain.
Are you hit with a
No.
One.
I'm not. No. I'm a sage.
6?
Well, if you roll a natural one, that's always a miss.
Okay.
For
I missed.
attack roll. So okay, so
I was caught unawares.
Yeah, you were definitely caught unawares, and I will say that you start to stab on this side, and only realizing that its face is
Yeah,
actually on your
yeah.
other shoulder, and it actually kind of keeps like switching around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's alarming. Okay, after Rin, as you're sort of like trapped there, Sparky.
I'm like, can I see things?
You can now that the fire really stoked up to the point where it okay, good, okay. So the fire is stoked up to the point where it illuminated a lot more in the area, and what you can see are these really, you can't tell if they're dirty or if their skin is just gray. They are completely naked humanoids that their flesh is just sagging in all the wrong ways, although they don't seem like they're overweight or anything like that. They just seem like their flesh is just weirdly sagging in the most awkward of places. But really the most
Their nose.
startling thing is that they have
Fisher just messaged me hot.
awesome. But they have growths all over their bodies. And some of the growths are actually breaking and actually like free bleeding. Like they're like there's
From
some
just any contact.
Ugh.
yeah
Seeping wounds.
like for example, like there might be some like broken wound action all around like Ren's like neck area.
Ew.
Stabby.
But the growths that have really like that are the most prominent on these creatures are over their eyes.
I don't have broken wounds. Stop looking at me like that.
What is getting on you?
I'm not a monster.
Everybody's looking at me like, oh, gross. Not me.
We're reacting.
Give me a complex.
Okay, so
You're great.
Okay, great.
But the growths that are actually the most intense are over their eyes, which effectively leads you to believe that these creatures have to be blind.
Okay.
They can't see at all. They have nose,
Makes
they have
sense.
mouths. Their mouths are horribly like.
They're attacking. They're attacking you. They've already attacked time.
No.
They have not attack time.
Ferg and
They're-
Oh, they've attacked
Ren.
Ferg.
Ferg and Ren.
Ferg and Ren. Okay.
Ferg
How many
has
are there?
since rolled up and stood up and is probably reaching for the red pencil right now.
How many are there?
You can only see 2,
Okay.
but I'd like you to make a perception check if you would, please.
Okay. Oh, spaghetti. 15. What's my perception based on? Wisdom?
When was
Which
your
is
proficiency in it?
nothing.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
You only see these 2.
Okay.
God damn. Whatever.
I'm gonna like do another explosive magic release, like and magic missiles, and 2 of them is gonna go.
Oh, you get to roll so many die.
You
It's awesome.
You do. You have to roll for each bolt. So you can
Two
roll.
of them is
I'll
gonna
have a
go
character
towards the
that
one
has
that
a
was
magic
like super
missile.
attacky, and one is gonna go towards the one that was attacking Ren.
Okay, so as I understand, you did damage to the one that was on you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll 2d4 plus 2 on that one.
Magic missiles are cool.
Don't you have to roll
Wait,
a
don't I have
d20 to see
roll
if you hit?
D20? Yeah.
No, magic missiles always.
No, magic missiles always hit.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And the more you level up, the more
I'm thinking.
dice
more
you get to
children
roll,
class.
and it's so cool.
But
And
like,
oh wait,
yeah,
it feels
D4.
so good.
What was it?
Level
D4?
magic
D4.
missile, you're just
So
like-
These guys.
Okay.
D4 plus 1.
That's
Hang on,
it.
yeah.
D4.
But they
You're
hit.
trying like that high.
They automatically hit, so that's the benefit.
3, right?
Yeah.
One
Well,
of
just
them
do
is a-
2 on this one. You said you were splitting them up. So
So
okay,
3
that's 7
and 4.
plus 2 is 9.
Damn.
The next
Plus
character
2?
I am.
Yeah, because it's plus
I
1
just
per
wanna
each
have
one of the
magic
Yes,
missiles.
plus 1
Oh,
per
okay.
each
That's
missile.
what
So
I
it's
played.
1d4 plus 1 per missile.
Okay.
Okay, so you fire out these globes, and at first you think they're totally gonna miss because you just sort of like put your hand up and they go out and they actually go and they arc around, and then they contact this person, this thing that's in front of Ferg, and hit it in both sides of the head, effectively just exploding the head all over Ferg, and it drops like a sack of potatoes.
I do not intend
Damn
this
it.
at all.
Roll your
murdered somebody.
damage for the second one.
For the other one.
Is this the first time you've killed someone?
Look what you did.
Okay, so 4 points of damage to the other one. So the other one actually, basically hits the creature on the back that's on Ren, and it just sort of like takes the brunt of the pain, but still is latched on to Ren.
Look what you did. Rub your nose in it. That's not how that works.
Should
And
have said 2 to you. I
Keth,
forgot
after
that you were
Keth.
still throttled.
Okay.
Or after Sparky is Keth.
Keth is kind of like seeing everything unfold between him, and he's gonna.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
around him.
I have to back up. I apologize. Here you go.
Uh-oh.
It's after midnight.
Alright, so what do I do?
We're gonna let it all hang out.
What do I do?
Nothing.
You're gonna
Well,
roll
actually,
a D3. You're gonna roll a D10, and
Right.
then you're gonna roll a D10, and then you're gonna roll a D10,
I
and
was
you're gonna
just
tell
gonna
me
say-
the result of all of those.
In order.
Don't feed
But
Sparky
that's-
after midnight.
Isn't it more than, isn't it 4 times?
No.
Because it's 1,000.
To
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, 3.
You'd have to roll triple zeros for it
Oh
to be
yeah,
1,000.
yeah, you're right.
1.
So 100.
Van.
100.
10,
3.
So 113.
So many die.
Flumps.
So many dice.
roll so many die.
I want you to roll a D12 for me, please.
Uh-oh. Which one's the 12?
It's
the
the-
semi, this one, right?
Here's what I will let you before you roll that. Or it doesn't
why not?
matter. Doesn't matter. What do you got?
10.
10. Your dagger begins to very intensely glow, and it has a sort of low vibration, like where it's as if your dagger just sprung to life in a way. We'll get into the rest of that later.
Okay.
So don't let me forget that though.
Okay.
Now we're at Keth.
Okay.
Kethkin.
Keth is gonna be seeing everything kind of unfold as he's like waking up fully.
Yeah.
He's gonna kind of like pull out, like stagger up, pull out his short sword, shout over to Sparky, way to protect everybody, you know, like, because he sees the distraught like happening as she like exploded this dude's head, like, you're protecting us, it's good, and like is gonna charge the other one that's got Ren locked in a headlock
Yeah.
with his short sword and just completely slash down at its head.
Okay. Roll it.
So pissed.
She has resting pissed face.
Got it.
So she's
12?
June and that's her brother Johnny.
12 is a hit.
They're siblings.
Yep.
He's
It's
not around anymore,
almost
though.
like it A, didn't see you coming, or B, was didn't care because it was just so intent. Like you can tell that it's trying to bite into
I miss him.
Ren's neck.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going for its head,
Yeah.
because like fuck that.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Roll damage.
And that is
Yeah.
6 damage.
6 damage. It is still up. But
and I'm gonna take a
I want
bonus.
to be clear. It has taken a grievous wound to the head. Like you're actually not surprised it's not down.
Okay. And I'm seeing this, I kind of am like a little bit grossed out and like, what the fuck? And so I aim to punch it because I'm like, I want it to let Ren go. I'm gonna punch it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hard. That's a 21.
How do you do this?
I'm gonna say like
You're gonna kick its
I'm
head in.
going like for more of its chest as I punch it this time. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like trying to get between them and just like punch it and like force it off of Ren like backwards.
Yeah.
And I think I'm kind of surprised by the force of my own punch as it kind of like goes like flying off of Ren and like slams against a tree.
Cool. Yeah. You like 2-inch punch that shit.
I was real like distraught and like, no, fuck this, like,
Yeah.
and just went for it. I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes Keth doesn't know his own strength and just like.
Well, it goes down and it has a little bit of that effect of what happened with Solomon, except that because of its grievous head wound, it just can't recover in time and it bleeds out. And you are all left in the silence of this this clearing.
Time gets like a stick that's on fire and kind of brings it over like closer to kind of analyze what these things are.
Yeah. I want to search it too, see if it like if it has anything on it, like a map or like anything.
It is when I say it's completely naked.
It's like-
it is naked. It is bereft of any item.
Okay.
Is it human?
Can I roll like a check to
If
see if I
this
know
is
what it
human,
is?
Have
the
I?
height?
Yeah. Do we know what it like? Does anybody know what it is?
One of the creatures is about 5'10", and then the other creature is about like 5'8".
Have I read anything about these things? Do they sound familiar?
That's what I want
Um,
one for myself. I just want.
roll a knowledge history.
This is a big one. You want to
yeah.
spell one?
Oh, I'm good. I'm still.
22.
And I
I'll
will
help you with
wait
that.
until after the break to reveal that.
Dun dun dun.